Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be bringing guys a preview of the Washington Commanders versus Minnesota Vikings Week 9 matchup. I'll give you guys an injury update, we'll talk about some keys to victory, and I'll give you guys my score prediction at the end of the video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content, hit that like button and that notification bell. All those things really help out the channel a lot. So this is a huge game for the Washington Commanders. They're 4-4 on a 3-game win streak. If they win this game, that's 4 in a row, and they'll be above 500 for the first time this season since week 1. So definitely a huge game for them. They're going up against a very good team in the 6-1 Minnesota Vikings. So it's going to definitely be a challenge, but it is a winnable game in my opinion. If you really look into the Vikings, I think this is a winnable game for sure. Let's start off with the injury report. So not great for the Commanders. Dotson out with the hamstring injury. He didn't practice all week and didn't practice all of last week, and it's just interesting because the week he tweaked his hamstring, I believe he was limited, and then he tweaked it, and then the next day or something, he was still limited. So or it might have been the next week, he was still limited, and then he was questionable for the game. Actually, he was questionable for the game that he tweaked his hamstring again that week, and then after that, he just hasn't practiced. So I wonder if he tweaked it again. That's just unfortunate. He's not playing this week, might not play next week, but it's a Monday night game against the Eagles, so you get an extra day there, so hopefully he can play. Cole Holcomb out, another big loss, but Ron Rivera said that injury's progressing pretty well, so hopefully he's back next week. Again, extra day should help out. David Mayo, hamstring injury, he's out, so that's a little bit concerning. David Mayo isn't a great player, but him being out with Cole Holcomb being out is concerning because now you just have Jamin Davis, and that's it. I mean, you can throw in maybe John Bostic, but I mean, is Bostic really going to do anything? No. And so you're going to have to be playing a lot of 3 safety sets. You're going to have to be playing Forrest, Curl, and Bob McCain a lot of the time. J.D. McKissic out with a neck injury. That is concerning to me. I don't know if he re-injured it or he injured his neck, or if it's the same thing from last year and it got tweaked or it just never healed. He hasn't really looked himself this year. He still looked good, but not like the J.D. McKissic of the past. And then Shaka Toney, questionable for the game with a calf injury. Jonathan Allen, Tyler Larson, Logan Thomas, and Cole Turner good to go. So tight end room's going to be better. And Logan Thomas wasn't really. I mean, he played last week, but he really didn't look like 100%, so hopefully this week he looks a little bit better, and Cole Turner back. Hopefully we're able to involve him in the offense a little bit more. Minnesota Vikings relatively healthy. Dalvin Tomlinson, guard, I believe D. Lyman out, and then Cam Dantzler and Jalen Nailor are questionable. So no one really big for them that is out for this game. And we have a bunch of guys that are out. And Chase Young, not playing this game. We'll see what happens next week. Has a chance to play, but Ron Rivera said he's a little bit rusty. So they're going to wait at least another week until he plays. So let's get into some keys to victory. We have to find a way to stop Justin Jefferson. And I don't know if we're going to be able to, because he lines up in the slot a lot. More than he does, 263 snaps versus 181 snaps on the outside. So he lines up in the slot more than he does on the outside, and that means it's going to be Rashad Wildgoose versus Justin Jefferson. And, Rashad Wildgoose, sure, he's looked solid at times. He has also struggled at times, but I don't trust really anyone. Even if we had a good corner, it would, I would still be not feeling good about the matchup against Justin Jefferson. But Rashad Wildgoose, forget about it. Like, Justin Jefferson is going off in this game, and we're gonna have to, if Justin Jefferson's in the slot, we're gonna have to help out Rashad Wildgoose. Like, we're gonna have to have safety help over the top always. We're gonna have to have safety help, or safeties helping Rashad Wildgoose on almost every play, because he will not be able to cover Justin Jefferson on his own. So Curl, McCain, or Forrest, they have to help out Rashad Wildgoose here, because it's going to be ugly if they don't. And maybe Benjamin St-Juste can shadow him, because he can play on the outside. Or he can play on the outside and the inside. So maybe Benjamin St-Juste can shadow him. I don't know, but Wild Goose versus Jefferson is not a matchup you'd like to see for the Washington Commanders, so they're going to have to try to limit him and help out whoever is going up against Justin Jefferson, because he's one of the better receivers in the league. So next one is we got, obviously you still want to run the ball a little bit, but the Vikings have a good run defense. You look at the amount they allow per game, they're like 7th in the league, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in the league in rush defense, in yards allowed per game. And I wish they would have showed the yards per attempt, because it could be that, they're up in a lot of these games and the other team is passing. And then in terms of passing yards per game, they allow the 4th most, I believe, or, definitely, 4th most in the league. So you can pass on them for sure. They allow about 275.6 yards per game. So I would try to attack some of their corners. You can get a lot of yards after catch on them. So that's just a key to victory. I mean, just you got to pass the ball a little bit more than you run it. And still run it, though. Still run it. Try to get the run game established if you can. Definitely do it. Get Robinson and Gibson the ball. I mean, I would try, especially since J.D. McKissic's out, I think Gibson's going to get a lot of targets in the backfield. And, yeah, I'm excited to see that for sure. Robinson's probably going to get a little more carries than Gibson, just because Gibson will be the primary pass-catching back in this game for sure. And kind of going along with that, give Terry McLaurin the ball. Give Terry McLaurin the ball. Since Taylor Heinicke switched to QB, his target share has increased by 10%. His air yardage share has increased by 30%. And, I mean, fantasy football, obviously, not an amazing metric to measure success, but in some situations it is, and he's averaging around 6.4 more points per game with Heinicke at QB. And some people might say, well, his target share is up because, Jahan Dotson isn't playing. Well, that could be true, but then you look at when, I think Jahan Dotson missed 2 games when Carson Wentz was still at QB, and Terry McLaurin still didn't get a ton of targets. So those are kind of just my thoughts right there. I don't think the Jahan Dotson thing is the reason why Terry's getting so many more targets with Heinicke. It's because Heinicke trusts him. He knows he needs to get him the ball, and that's what I would, continue to do. Patrick Peterson, he used to be elite. He's not elite anymore. He's a vet. He obviously knows what to do, but I think Terry McLaurin is much better than him at his position than Patrick Peterson is at cornerback. So just attack him and just give Terry McLaurin the ball. 8+ targets minimum every week. I need to see that every week. I don't care if they're double teaming him, because if they are, do a screen or something, or give him, on an end round. I know that's not a target, but you're giving him the ball in his hands, or a couple, short slants. Do something, crossing routes, whatever, to give him the ball, because, even on a 3 or 4 yard catch, he can turn that into 15+ easily. So that's another key to victory. Give Terry McLaurin the ball. And this is a cliche one, but turnover battle. The Commanders are 4-0 when winning the turnover battle. The Commanders are 4-0 when forcing a turnover this year. So defense needs to force a turnover. Kirk Cousins, you can get some interceptions off of him. He's a good quarterback, but you can definitely do so. We're playing him at 1 p.m. Wish it was later. Wish it was a 9 or 8 p.m. game or a 4:25 game, because we know the Kirk Cousins are different at 1 versus 8 p.m. But you got to force some turnovers. It doesn't matter how you do it. Special teams, force fumble on Dalvin Cook or Alexander Mattison, or an interception off of Kirk. However you do it, just get a turnover or 2, win the turnover battle, limit the turnovers on offense and on special teams, and you have a good chance of winning. They're 4-0 when forcing a turnover this year, so let's hope they can do that. And then the last one, you got to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. So shout out right here, Steve. He had a stat that shows that Kirk Cousins' passer rating when the pocket's clean is 103, and then Kirk Cousins' pass rating under pressure is 62. So there's always going to be a little bit of a difference, but that's a dramatic difference. That's 41. A difference of 41 in the rating right there. So definitely have to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. And, Washington ranks 4th in pressure rate, so it's kind of a strength versus a weakness. Their offensive line's okay. Christian Darrisaw has been very, very solid this year at left tackle, so interesting to see how Montez Sweat will fare versus him. And he's probably their best lineman right now. And Minnesota ranks league average with a 59% team pass blocking win rate. So hopefully Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne can eat. Even Montez Sweat as well could be the last game before Chase Young comes back. So those are kind of the keys to victory. And there's always those other cliche ones like the turnover battle. And then just special teams. Got to play a clean game there. The punt unit has been amazing. Kick returns have been better with Antonio Gibson as well. So that's definitely something to feel encouraged about. I mean, special teams is the reason why we're winning some of these games, because the punt unit's been amazing in terms of their coverage and forcing some turnovers there. And yeah, just they got to continue to do what they've been doing. So Vikings, some people might just look at their record and think, okay, this is going to be a blowout. And who knows? It could be. But I just don't think they're that good. Their biggest win was week 1 against the Packers, 23-7, and that's a good win. Then they lose. They get killed by the Eagles. We had a closer game than the Eagles, and our game was ugly. It was terrible. And a lot of Eagles fans say that the score here doesn't show the full story. So similar to our game. Then they beat the Lions by 4, which team we lost to, which we definitely shouldn't have lost to, but that was just a terrible loss. We're gonna look back at the last few weeks of the season when we're like a game back or right in the playoff race, and we're like, okay, if we would have won that game, we would easily be in. They beat the They beat the Saints by 3. Saints aren't a great team. They beat the Bears by 7, similar score to what we did. They beat the Vikings by 8 with Skylar Thompson, the Dolphins' third string quarterback, in, and then they beat the Cardinals by 8 last week. So not many impressive wins besides like week 1 and maybe the Cardinals game, but the Cardinals aren't that impressive either. So I think this is a winnable game. I will go for my score prediction on this game. Definitely think we could win. It's at home. It's a blackout for the Commanders. They're wearing the black uniforms, and I think they want the people in the stands to wear black as well. But I'm going to pick the Vikings to lose or win just because, they've been better than the Commanders. And I'm going to go 24-20 Minnesota Vikings. Again, I think there's definitely a chance the Commanders win this game. Would not be surprised at all. And who knows, maybe I'll switch my prediction. But a lot of injuries for the Commanders on both sides of the ball. Cole Holcomb, David Mayo, Jahan Dotson. It's a lot of injuries right there. Wes Schweitzer's also been out, and they said it's still going to be a while for that, which is unfortunate. But that's my prediction. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.